Welcome to Lesson 25. In this lesson, we'll look at pronouns. Our phrase is Dimitte nobis debita nostra, forgive us our debts. You've learned so far that a pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. So in other words, a pronoun stands for a person, place, or thing. The noun that a pronoun stands for is known as the antecedent. There are different types of pronouns in both English and Latin, and several of those are found in our prayers. In Latin, pronouns are declined like nouns and need to be the correct gender, number, and case, but there are different rules for each kind of pronoun, as you will soon see. Since there are more than 20 different pronouns in our prayers, we're only going to touch on a few of these. The first type of pronoun is the personal pronoun. Some common personal pronouns are I, you, he, it, they, and us. You've already come across the personal pronoun endings which are attached to the Latin verbs, o, se, te, and so on. And of course these correspond to I, thou, he, she, and it, and so on. But in addition to these personal pronoun endings, there are specific Latin words for each of the grammatical persons. Personal pronouns are stated separately from the verb when there is a need for emphasis or clarity. In our prayers, you'll find many of these standalone pronouns. You already know that in English different pronouns may be used depending on whether the noun being replaced is a subject noun or an object, perhaps the object of a preposition. For example, we say, I will go for a walk, referring to the first person singular. But we also say, please give the book to me, first person singular, where me is used as an object. We don't say, please give the book to I. So that will make it a little clearer why there is a need in Latin for different forms for the different cases in both singular and plural for our personal pronouns. There are 3 different paradigms, one for each grammatical person. Here's the paradigm for the first person of the personal pronouns. And at this stage in grammar, we won't be looking at these paradigms. You won't need to memorize these paradigms, I should say, for your work. I just want you to be aware of them, and we'll look at where a few examples pop up in our prayers. So don't get overwhelmed when you see several new paradigms coming along in this lesson. So first person singular, ego means I, nos means we, and we'll just look at some examples from our prayers. Libera nos ab inie inferne, deliver us from the fires of hell. So nos in this sentence is the accusative plural form of we. Another example is fiat mihi secundum verbum tuum, where mihi refers to the dative singular form to me, be it done to me, according to thy word. Okay, another one is ora pro nobis peccatoribus, pray for us sinners. And again, it's the object of the preposition for. And you'll usually find the dative and ablative forms nobis used with a preposition in Latin, but they're not, you won't always see a preposition, so that's something to watch out for. Here's the paradigm for the second person, which is thou or you, plural, tu, tui, tibi, te, te, and so on. Examples from our prayers are benedicta tu in mulieribus, blessed art thou. Ad te clamamus, to thee do we cry. Ad te suspiramus, to thee do we sigh. And both of those last 2 examples are the accusative singular form. Et benedictus fructus ventris tui, blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Christi filii tui incarnationem, the incarnation of Christ, thy Son. So tui is thy. possessive form. Here's the paradigm for the third person, the forms for he, she, or it, and some of those have separate forms for the different genders, as you can see in this paradigm table, and also some of the forms for the plural, they, have different forms for the genders as well. Only one of these is used in our prayers, which is eius, meaning of him, or as we would usually say, his. So in the Creed you'll find filium eius unicum, meaning his only begotten Son. And in the prayer at the end of the Angelus, per passionem eius et crucem ad resurrectionis, and so on, by his passion, death, and resurrection, and so on. Another form of pronoun is the demonstrative pronoun. And these are so named because they demonstrate or point out a particular noun. So we will find in our prayers forms of ik, eik, ok, which means this. And the meaning in this context is usually referring to something that is close, pointing out, for example, this valley of tears, after this our exile. So we won't look at the entire paradigm table. I'll just show you the specific examples. In ac lacrimarum vale, in this valley of tears, vale is feminine, so we have the singular feminine form, and it's the ablative case following the preposition in. Nobis post hoc exilium, again, this one is singular and it's the neuter form, and it's also the accusative case, og. And the last one is eik, mysteria, these mysteries. Mysteria is a plural neuter noun, and we're using the accusative form, eik. So you'll find those specific forms in your vocabulary for this lesson. The last kind of pronoun we'll look at in this lesson is the possessive pronoun. And a possessive pronoun takes the place of a noun as usual and shows to whom or to what a thing belongs. So in other words, it shows the possessor of a thing. Possessive pronouns work like adjectives in sentences, and according to some texts, they are actually classified as adjectives rather than pronouns. Here are the English forms: mine, thine, his, her, its, ours, yours, and theirs. Now that's quite simple in English, but in Latin there are many, many forms. Each possessive pronoun must agree in gender, case, and number with the thing possessed, which is the noun being modified. Thus, each of these forms needs to be declined. So, in Latin, in this table here, you'll find the stems of the possessive pronouns, and each of these stems has to be declined like a first or second declension adjective, and each has its own paradigms for masculine, feminine, and neuter forms. So that's a lot of pronouns. The main thing that I want you to take away from this lesson is to know the specific pronouns found in our prayers, and also to simply recognize them when you come across them in the prayers of the Mass or other Latin reading that you're going to be doing. So if you plan to go on with Latin, with other courses in the future and more advanced work, you'll have to learn more about the pronouns, but we're just at the recognition stage here. We're not going to do too much on them. We'll just look at the first person plural pronoun our, because that comes up quite a few times in our prayers. The nominative singular forms of our are noster, nostra, and nostrum, which express the masculine, feminine, and neuter forms. This table shows the three genders, singular and plural, for all the 5 cases for noster, our. And a couple of the easier examples, or more straightforward examples from our prayers are Pater Noster, our Father. So our in this sentence is the possessor of Father. Father is a singular masculine noun in the nominative case. So we use the singular nominative form of noster. Okay. Another example, et in hora mortis nostrae, and at the hour of our death. In this phrase, the word hour modifies death, which is a feminine noun in the genitive form. Thus, nostrae is the form that we're looking for, being singular, genitive, and feminine. Now, although it's quite difficult to memorize the many pronouns, you'll find that it's not at all difficult to recognize them when you see them. And that's our main goal with pronouns in this course. If you need the forms, you can look them up in a text. However, you will find a couple of specific forms that are found in our prayers amongst your vocabulary words. And here is your vocabulary. Ik, ek, ok, this. Nos, nostri, we or us. Tu, tui, tud, thou, thee, thy, and thine. Eius, his. And eius is one of those specific forms found in our prayers that I just mentioned. Noster, nostra, nostrum, our. And a verb, ponere, to put or place. Homework, you will find exercises in your text, and as usual, supplementary exercises and a drill schedule. That's it from me. Until next time, goodbye, God bless.